Mama. Hi there, this is Jolene. I'm here with Sabrina today. She's my first set of interview I'm going to be doing with her in some research that I've been looking into that's got me a little bit fired up about our family court system within the U.S., especially here locally within East Tennessee, also with the Child Protective Service system. And I know it's a nationwide thing, but locally here in Tennessee, it's very bad and very severe. And so we got the dogs barking. It's okay. But Sabrina, so I came out here today because I heard your story, and yours is the one that really grabbed my attention the most. It's okay, baby girl. It's just a puppy's barking. So Sabrina, just to get started, tell me initially how your first involvement got with the system here in East Tennessee in your area. So yours is out of Carter County, correct?
Yes, it started when I took my kids to see. At the time, we were still married. My husband, and he had just got out of prison, and I didn't know that my children were considered victims of another state.
Okay, and that state was
Arizona.
Okay.
And when I got the call from the Special Victims Unit, 2 days later, I went to go get my kids with police officers and Carter County police officers. They would not give me my kids, no matter how much I screamed and cried and told them, my kids were victims. They're victims. They're victims. They're victims. They just said, you got to take it to civil court.
Now, at any point with this whole with Carter County Police, did Arizona provide you with the documentation you needed, any of that, or just go on what they said to go get your children, or how did that work?
I went on what they said. I tried to hire an attorney, and the attorney would it was her job to get the paperwork, and she never got the paperwork.
Okay, so because of a lapse in I'd say judgment on both states' part, and because of this ridiculous law in Tennessee, which you're not the first victim I know of it, if you're married legally, whether no longer how long you've been separated, and you have children, whoever has possession of the children, no one can make you turn them over. And that's the law here in Tennessee, correct?
Yes, I didn't know that was a law in Tennessee. If I had known that, those children would have never left my care.
Okay. And then, since that being, this man you were married to at the time who got released from prison, and you thought you'd be a good thing and try to rekindle a relationship with his children, right?
Yes. I thought it'd be okay because his mother was there and it would be supervised.
And they would be safe and watched.
Yes.
And that turned into, and from that point, and when they went to return the children, how many years now have you been battling?
3 years.
3 years, okay. And how many new charges has this guy racked up since then?
Well, that's going to probably be quite a bit. Probably harboring a fugitive, transferring a fugitive across state lines. He's assaulted an 11-year-old and a 15-year-old.
Okay, so minors.
Yes.
And even with assaults with the minors throughout these last 3 years.
But they don't call them assaults. They call them domestic violences.
Domestic violences, okay.
Yeah, even though they're minors, and it should be assault against a minor, it's if you look at the paperwork, it says domestic violence.
Now, I know you said that there, we all know in this area a lot of corruption and how easy it is to be in a pocket of a judge or a police officer or what have you. It's my understanding that the possibility and highly chances that he may be an informant for Carter County Police?
Yes, I believe he is.
Okay. And you're in the process now of getting some type of paperwork to give that proven to the courts?
If I can get the paperwork, my attorney's trying to help me with that. He said it's kind of hard to prove that, which I've kind of already proved that on myself because the way Carter County will not go up there and remove a known child molester in the house.
Okay, so that's what we're dealing with now is even though he's been proven and convicted, CPS sees no problem with this.
No, they apparently don't see no problem with it.
Gotcha. Okay.
And he hasn't even registered in the state of Tennessee, but he is registered in California. He is registered in Arizona.
I see, and I believe the law is you really only have a very short amount of time to register in a new state.
It's 72 hours. My lawyer has the paperwork on the guy. He was supposed to register within 72 hours, and he is supposed to be on lifetime of sex offender registry.
So the person they place custody of your children with is over 17 felony convictions, correct?
Yes, it's extensive. He's got from breaking and entering, sexual assault, domestic violence, arson, possession of drugs. To it's long. It goes on, and a lot of it's just a lot of violent stuff. Where he's assaulted domestic violence,
and so
children. And
I've been looking at your extensive amount of paperwork here, and I'll just show everybody. This is 3 years of fighting. Right.
This is 3 years of
so, fighting. And I've only got to go through the bare minimum of it so far, and I'll be back with Sabrina to dig through more later and discuss more. But there were times when it was proven fact to CPS, correct, that there was abuse in the home against these children?
Yes, CPS admitted to me in a family meeting. My mom was on the phone.
Which they, for some reason, happened to not record.
They don't record it. But my mother was on the phone, and my mother will even tell you my brother was there as a support with me. And he can even tell you that they admitted that abuse had happened, but my husband was doing services, so therefore they didn't feel a need to remove the children out of the home.
So, that being said, proven, but because he's having services, it's okay for him to abuse his children? That's basically what CPS said, right?
Yeah, that's what they're basically telling me.
So let's go a little bit about you. What's your criminal history like?
I have one misdemeanor charge, and it's in North Carolina.
And nothing major, misdemeanor, petty.
It was a charge I took. So because at the time I was with Jonathan, and he beat me really bad the day before court, and I had actually marks on me. And the DA came out and told me, well, if you plead guilty, your husband at the time won't go to prison. And he looked at me like, if you don't, I'm going to kill you. So
for fear of your life.
Yeah, for fear of my life, I took
and fear for your children.
I took the bargain, and I got charged with cruelty to animals. And as you can see, I've got 2 babies here that are not in any way harmed or mistreated, right?
And I do see the beautiful little girl you do have here.
Yeah.
And I must say she's amazing and obviously well taken care of.
Yeah, she's well taken care of. She's a little boogie butt sometimes, but she's awesome.
Yeah, they all do. I got a 2-year-old myself. I understand, and I'm fighting through the same types of things here. So no criminal history to speak of. What, any drug issues in your life? Any, nothing, maybe a little pot maybe. But nothing like.
Yeah, I used to smoke, but I quit. I quit right that weekend that I found out what was going on with my children. When my children came out and started talking about the abuse, I decided to quit. When we did the family meeting, I knew it was going to be in my system, but I went ahead and agreed to the drug test so that way it wouldn't look bad on me. Mm-hmm. And he failed for meth, so I figured, well, if I fell for pot, it can't be too much bad than failing for meth, right?
Yeah.
So I said, okay, well, and they're going to give me 4 weeks to get it out of my system. I haven't touched it, and my husband can tell you I haven't touched anything, and trust me, now I'm all hyper-nex.
Right.
It calms me down, and I use it as medical. I don't use it
which is fine. Marijuana is definitely a healing substance.
Yeah, it helps me with my PTSD. I have terrible night terrors.
Well, I can imagine
if I don't smoke. So
worrying about your children and things like that. Yeah,
I have very seriously anxiety and hyperness.
Now, has it been, in your opinion, with your involvement with CPS and things like that? Because this has been my experience. And you try to bring them facts because you're worried about your children, but for some reason their focus is so much on you.
Yes. I told them my concerns, and then they would tell me, well, the police handled it. And I said, well, was it the same 2 officers that went up there and said, it's okay for him to be around my children because the father's there? And then I said, well, if that's true, then it seems to me like you just don't care. And then she proceeded to say I was belittling her, and she was going to print these texts and put them in my file. So I was just like, okay, well, I'm just letting you know. I'm not belittling you. I'm just telling you my feelings. If you're going to take it out of context, then you're going to take it out of context, and you're going to do with it what you want. And that was the whole consent of. And then I told them from now on, I'm not contacting them unless it's through my attorney.
Is it your opinion that Child Protective Services and even so far as judges use fear of not seeing your children to keep you from speaking up?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've gotten threatened a couple times. I have it on text message where the lady stated that if this don't stop, your children are going to be placed in state's custody. And that's basically saying if you don't shut up, if you don't keep your mouth closed, we're just going to throw your kids in state custody.
You don't quit with these filings and fighting back.
Yeah, and the thing that gets me is the kids don't even live here. So if I don't shut up, you're going to place my kids in the state's custody when they don't even live with me? It's like they don't even want to give me a chance because I guess where I messed up and let him have them for that week.
That 1 week.
That 1 week. And it wasn't even 2 days later I went up there to get them. I don't know if he told them I abandoned them there or what he told them. But they believe it. Instead of coming and talking to me and knowing the situation, and I told them the situation, no. It was 2 days later that I got the phone call and I went up there to get my children. It was 2 days later.
Has the state of Arizona still yet to this day provided you with anything proving your case?
I can get that, but the Judge Gene Stanley, told me I could never hold that against him because he did his time.
But if he did his time, and the state of Arizona, even though he's done his time, still considers him a danger to those children, should that not, in your opinion?
It should count. It should count. It should be followed. If a child is a victim in one state, it should be filed to the next state that they live in.
Well, it's like the Uniform Child Custody Act. I'm sure you heard of that. So,
yeah.
Right. So that keeps you from taking a kid from one state, filing for custody in another.
Yes.
So isn't that similar? If Arizona says no, how can you go to another state and take them and they say yes?
Well, and I also had a judge give me custody of Gabriel when his mother tried to take custody of Gabriel when we were out of town working. And I was the only one that went to court because Jonathan had charges. I went to court, I paid the money, and I got my son back. And the judge said, I guess you learned your lesson, didn't you, not to leave him with her ever again? And I said, yes, sir. And it was just a babysitting, and we contacted her every day. We didn't abandon him. And when I got him back, my child was really underweight. Very, very underweight. It took me forever to get him back up to weight. The doctors even stated that he was very malnutritioned.
When you do get to visit with your children, is it supervised or unsupervised at this point?
It's unsupervised, and it's overnight as of right now. But
how long did it take you to get that?
3 years. 3 years. It took me 3 years because it was gradually, I had 50-50, and then they would cut it down, and they kept cutting my visits down. They were giving him more time, and then they went behind my back and signed paperwork, and like this right here that I didn't sign, and neither did the father. So I don't even know how this is legal for him to have 306. No, this isn't the one. This one was mine.
It's okay. We'll get through it.
Yeah.
But
there's another order. This was the one I filed to have all my days and him to only be supervised, being the fact with his criminal charges. And see, I signed this, and this was dated, and as you can see, it's got the seal from the notary.
Yeah.
And even with this, they were able to go against this and have another one filed that shouldn't even be able to hold up.
Was that in another county or same county?
Same county. It's Carter County.
Okay.
See? Carter. Right there. Carter.
And you live in what county?
Sullivan. I've lived in Sullivan for a while. I lived in Kingsport.
And it's pretty much been my understanding child custody goes by the non-custodial parents' county of residency. Typically, at least that was how it was for me in Michigan.
In Tennessee, it's where the children live.
Okay.
It's so different in some
states. Yeah, they're not all the same.
Fall under the guidelines of transferring child from parent to parent, or is there a law that states that during the process, each parent should be allotted so much time with said child.
I think this is a matter of custodial kidnapping to get what they want.
It's what it about sounds like is
It's just like Alicia. She let her ex-husband, my brother's girlfriend, take the kids, say it was just for a weekend. They're in the process of divorce. She never saw her kids again. Couldn't report them kidnapped because they were married. He kept them for 2 years, long enough to drag out the divorce. So when she walked in that courtroom, they said, well, you've not seen your kids in 2 years. You get nothing. And she's still not seen those kids, and they are teenagers now. So the reason why, I've come out to talk to Sabrina and all these things and look over these paperworks, because I'm only a month and a half into my devastation. Did this sneak attack, do you feel like you were set up from the day one?
Oh yeah, I believe that when they called me, because his mother called me on the phone and begged me. Yeah, we'll wrap it up. Begged me to bring the children up there so that way he could get, to be around the children and
have a little time.
And promised me over the phone that the children would be returned to me, that there wouldn't be any problems. I mean,
it was
rehearsed very well, and I really did believe them. And I thought, well, and this is before Arizona called me,
because you would never expect.
No. It was
a mother's worst nightmare.
It was blatant to harm me. It was done to harm me as a tactic.
Well, you seem like a very strong-willed woman to fight this for 3 years. I know a lot of women would probably have just threw their hands up and gave up because of the pain.
No, I really want to. I've cried. I've shed tears,
and it happens out of nowhere too. One little thing, those tears will come.
I still work. Well, the thing that gets me now is they're trying to say I coach my children, and my children, as you can see, the only child here is Abby, so that's kind of impossible.
Coaching takes a lot of time and effort and work, and it's hard to do when you don't have that amount of time with them, right?
Yeah, I only, like I said, just now recently got my overnight visits, and I had to give up one of my overnight visits as of right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm so glad I got to meet you. I'm so glad that I was introduced to you, and I'm going to wrap up this first interview at that, but next time I come out, I would like for us to thoroughly go through each and every one of those pieces of paper right there.
Yeah, we'll go through it all.
And thank you so much for being part of the project, and if you need any support from me, definitely reach out, and if you know anybody else that, even if they have a positive outcome, any little thing to help expose what's going on, send them my direction.
If I find somebody, I'll let them know, but the more this gets out, I'm pretty sure people will be coming to fly.
My goal is to, like I said to you before, the goal of this project is to no longer let these parents hide in shame, but to be seen and to be heard and to make them understand. And God bless you and your family, and I'll be praying for you and your children, and you're going to win.
Oh, I know I'm going to win.
If God is for us, then who can stand against, right?
Yep.
Amen. All right. Thank you so much, Sabrina. I look forward to seeing you again soon.